All righty then. Rickey Smiley Morning Show, man. It is about that time, 13 before the top of the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Johnson got 3 things you need to know. Jeff, happy to have you this morning as always.
Always good to be with you, brother. How are you?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Blessed and highly favored, bro.
Good morning, Jeff.
Good. God is good. Be quiet, Special K. Nobody talking to you. God is good all the time.
Okay, wait a minute.
It's cold-blooded right there.
We're not going to start off like that. Good morning, Jeff, my brother.
Hey, listen, brother. I was coming around, brother. How are you, good sir?
I'm good, my friend.
Hey.
Man, I hate when you do that, man. Jeff, come on there. Ask me how I was doing, and you have to make it about you, man. I just get tired of this.
Shut up. Hey, just be quiet. Let me and Jeff talk. I want to hear from you.
Please.
Act like this your show or something.
Yeah. Talking to everybody like you.
Just with your name on the wall.
Like your name on the show. Y'all over talking.
Jeff, just talk to me and Rock T.
Want to be a comedian superstar.
Hey, listen, man. I really want to know your thoughts, man, on is Jim Jordan going to be the new leader?
No, he's not.
Why?
No, he's not, because he's too extreme, and members of his party that don't have the courage to come out publicly and say that they don't support him, but they know that in their districts, you got a lot of Republicans who are in Biden won districts, and their futures is on the line if they vote for somebody like Jim Jordan. They know Jim Jordan is going to do more harm than good, so they're not going to vote for him.
And to your point, you also got to look at people's body of work. Jim Jordan, who is from Ohio, I think there's going to be another round of questioning of him today. He's not a deal maker. And if you're going to be the speaker, you have to be a deal maker. And you got to be a deal maker with Republicans, let alone a deal maker across the aisle. He don't even make deals with Republicans. So I agree with you. I don't see how he comes out of this and becomes the speaker. It also sets up for Democrats to be able to support another candidate who's a bit more sane. So I agree with you. I don't think we're going to see that happen. As it relates to the war in Israel, President Biden was in Israel yesterday, and there were a lot of folks that were confused about what is he actually going to achieve. He made a statement that said that his major, I think, goal was to ensure that there was aid that was able to come in, and many of us that are following know that Egypt agreed to allow aid trucks into Gaza as they have been shut off from water, from just all resources. So as this goes on, one of the things that I think is going to be challenging, I don't know, Kay, did you hear about the Biden official who resigned?
What?
I just read about that this morning, and it was because they have some disagreement on how the support for Israel is being portrayed or something along those lines. I was just reading about that.
Yeah, and it I mean, this is a person who has been in the position that he's in for over 11 years, and I think like so many else agrees that the attack on Hamas by Hamas that started this conflict that we're in now was deplorable and inhumane. But he spoke about how can we claim to be consistent with what we say when we're actually providing weapons, which never de-escalates the situation. It always escalates the situation. So, this is probably one of the most divisive political issues that there is. And you go ahead,
Jeff, do you think it's because nobody in the situation hands are fully clean? Israel's hands aren't fully clean, even though they were the victim initially. But then again, the Hamas is all the way wrong.
Yeah. What about the people that live in Gaza that has absolutely nothing to do with Hamas?
Right.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, right? I mean, my brother Mark Lamont Hill, did an amazing kind of breakdown of this. Because number one, listen, while Hamas controls Gaza politically, they also are a non-political organization. But you have Palestinians.
Hold on, Jeff, hold that thought. I want to finish this. I don't want you to rush. I'm going to bring you on the other side of this. More Jeff Johnson up next. Rickey Smiley Morning Show. All right, y'all. Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Hey, we are continuing the conversation with the one and only guy, Jeff Johnson, who we absolutely love. You're talking about everything that's going on with Israel and Palestine and what's going on in between in the Gaza Strip. What were you saying before we went to commercial?
Kay asked what about innocent Palestinians, and so we're talking about the complexity of this because Hamas does politically control Gaza and running Gaza. They are also an organization that is beyond that political control in Gaza, and so Palestinians who are there are not all a part of Hamas. So the legitimate terrorist attacks that took place on the 7th are not connected to most of the citizens who are there. Okay, so that's part one. But two is it's so difficult, man, to have this conversation because we don't always have it from the beginning. And I talked about this last week. Like the Palestinian people were forcibly moved from what is now Israel. And there was and have been occupied since 1967. It's the longest military occupation in the history of the world, right? So the challenge is there was a quote that John F. Kennedy made that said, when you fail to allow peaceful revolution, you ensure a violent one. And most of us who are well-meaning people don't justify violence. And the violence from Hamas in particular, we don't justify.
And
but
Jeff,
the bottom line is,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Please. No, please.
Okay, and for most of our adult lives, for most of us who are in our 40s or 50s, we've been hearing about this whole two-state solution that every administration in the United States has been trying to get to some kind of agreement on. Can you kind of explain briefly to people what that two-state solution means?
In a simple way, a two-state solution is that the state of Israel has its rights and its land, and the Palestinians have their rights and its land. But even that is challenging, Kay, because, when you think about the West Bank, which is the land that's between the state of Israel and Jordan, that was Palestinian land as well. And you have Israeli settlers there that even the UN and others around the world say are against the law. So when you talk about two-state, I think it requires two groups of people who are never going to agree fundamentally in creating an agreement. And so, and while you have some who want that two-state solution, you have those like Hamas and others on both sides that are saying, we can't do this. It will not happen. So it's one of those things where reasonable folks are saying, well, if this has to happen, a two-state solution is the only way to do it peacefully. But as we see, to your point, decade after decade after decade after decade, there are those that are fighting against that. And Kay, ask yourself this. If somebody came in and moved you out of your house and then said to you, okay, I'm going to give you half as a solution, how would you feel? So there's a political reality that I think we have to deal with, but there's a historical one that we got to be honest about.
Right.
Wow, that's good stuff, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, thank you so much for that, man. Let everybody know how you could be reached.
Y'all can hit me at Jeff's Nation on IG. And for all the people that want to know more or who know more, share it. This is a situation that's so full of misinformation. Please just share accurate information. So, Rick, I always appreciate the time, brother. Kay, always love the conversation.
Yes,
y'all
sir.
have a fantastic Thursday. Be good to each other.